Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's the Breph and welcome to another video. Now, from the title of this one, some of you may have pieced together quite how much of a task this will be. Well, I didn't do that beforehand, despite being very clearly warned in my Discord server what I was getting into. Hence, we're here to ask a question. Can you beat Pokemon Blazing Emerald with only a Slakoth? Before we get into it, just a few things to mention. Blazing Emerald is a ROM hack of Pokémon Emerald made by StruedelMuffin, which was recently opened up to version 1.7 beta testing. So you're joining me in the current version 1.6. This game features new increased shiny odds, new Hoennian forms, the physical special split, and so much more. Overall, it is truly a perfect mix of balance and challenge, with a lot of fun along the way. Unfortunately, while I do like fun, that just don't pull in the views, and as a challenge runner, I need more, well, challenge. So, special thanks to everyone who voted on the poll I had up for helping me choose what I use, and you sadistic lot, oh, you picked a doozy. Slakoth is a Pokemon that, for a first stage anyway, doesn't look so bad on the surface. Given it's based off of a sloth, the low 30 speed doesn't surprise anyone, but it boasts a respectable 280 base stat total, with the highlights being 60 in attack, defense and health. The issue, as almost everyone knows by now, is that ability, Truant. Truant means that Slakoth will only be able to attack every other turn. It's basically the equivalent of running permanent Hyper Beam. In this game though, it has been tweaked slightly. Now at the end of every loafing turn, we restore a little bit of HP, which is a lovely buff. Well, now that I've spent 2 minutes of your very valuable time explaining stuff, let's crack on with it, shall we? The game begins and we choose our outfit, whacking on the Seafoam option, because why not? No choice of gender in this game, but that hardly matters because it's 2023 and my pronouns are pleb. We name ourselves Breph and race through the intro of the game up to the point of choosing our starter. From prior gameplay, I know that Pikachu has one non-attacking move in Thunder Wave and I cannot remember the rest. Why no Slakoth from the start? Well, I had some issues randomising the save file. For whatever reason, it just didn't like it. So I found a little workaround. We pick the Pikachu, Thunder Wave our way through the Zigzagoon, and begin the tedious process of getting ourselves a Slakoth. I had some options. I could play up until Petalburg Woods, where, let's be honest, nothing really major happens in the game before we can get our Slakoth there. Or I could just cheat. And if anyone knows me, I do like a good way of cutting corners, so that's exactly what I do. I needed a way to avoid bias when creating the Slakoth, so I used a randomizer to pick the nature. As you can see, we put the riskiest 2-letter combination into a search engine and I came up clean, because I know how to wipe my history. We end up getting the impish nature, which means plus defense minus special attack. It's almost the ideal situation. In terms of our other stats, we're building a starter, so we start with the base level of 5 as per usual and roll the following IVs. 17 HP, 30 attack, 31 defense, 11 special attack, 29 special defense and 20 speed. Back in the game, we name ourselves Breph Shed. Shout out in the next video for the best comments guessing why that is, and I'm expecting you all to be ruthless with them. From there we begin to make our way towards May and, well, a small issue happens. As you can see, we beat a wild Pokemon and some non-existent party member gains EXP from the fight. I could only assume at the time that it was because I replaced the Pikachu with Slakoth and that caused some kind of scripting error. So I reset the game, raced back through as before, used the same stats and this time add our Slakoth rather than replace. We immediately head to the Pokemon Center to try and release the Pikachu, but he just won't go. So in the PC he stays for now. We'll need to catch ourselves some HM slaves later, but for now we are just one man and his Sloth. At this point in the script that I wrote at 2 AM just after recording, I've clearly decided to give up, and I've just written ad-lib the rest, you word beginning with F I can't say in the first 5 minutes of a video. So get ready everyone, because this is about to go downhill and fast as I just ad-lib the rest of this script. Talk about professionalism. As per usual, this game just sort of follows the linear path, so we head into Petalburg Woods where we get to fight the Team Aqua Grunt. Look, even with the ability Truant, even at a low level, we still make light work of most things. The fact that we run in Scratch might seem like a really low power move, but you got to remember, we're getting that same type attack bonus, so actually the hits that we do land do a fair amount of damage. So eventually, making our way into Rustborough, we land at Roxanne's gym, and here is the very first, yes it only took us to the first gym, #Breff's a pleb moment. And coincidentally, this marks the point in the video where I've decided to go back and actually script things, because the professionalism in this video is going up and down more than a virgin's cock at a strip show. Jesus. Right. Where was I? Oh yes. #Breff's a pleb moment. It being that we tried to challenge Roxanne at a reasonable level. One of the many changes in this game is the fact that certain moves have had their typings changed, cut being one of them. It's now a steel type move, and just as I was beginning to believe I had a lifeline to Roxanne, I'm greeted with Aaron, and I just can't do anything to it. So I run off and grind a few levels, learning Feint Attack and reaching level 21 in the process. I abuse the fact that I have Yawn as a move, putting Aaron to sleep and blasting it with some powerful moves. Between that, the minor health regen and the super effective steel type cut, the first gym is beaten fairly easily all things considered. The story of Blazing Emerald doesn't deviate from that of regular Emerald very much, so we leave the gym and follow the runaway thief into the tunnel in order to rescue both the briefcase and the seagull. On the way back from there, we bump into May, hitting her with that elite level Riz, bagging us the number boys, get in there. Actually, we charm her so well, she shows us her balls, busting them open and letting us absolutely smash her in battle. Next on the list of destinations is Giuffard Town. Here a large change has taken place. Brawley's been replaced as gym leader, but more on that later. For now, we need to head into the cave, descending deep into the bowels of the dungeon, where we bump into Stephen. We deliver the letter and leave the cave. I was gonna make some jokes about the trendy saying being tasty kindergarten, but I think I'll let all of you make those for me. Best comments down below get a shout out in the next one. Be ruthless. I love it. I'll do my best to avoid spoilers for anyone who hasn't played the game yet, but there is a major change in this area and an added double battle as well. Fortunately, it's a bit like the later one with Steven in the Space Center where you can just select a single Pokemon, so the run isn't over just yet. The new gym leader is Blake, and he specialises in dark type Pokemon. Look, he wasn't so bad. Slakoth is nice and we hit hard. You can watch the footage on screen now. On a slight tangent though, a massive shout out from the last video to both Midnight Spectrum Club and Sniper for their guesses in the comments. The actual answer is best summed up in 2 words: Valentino Rossi. I'm a bike fiend at heart and I grew up watching this man dominate the world of motorcycle racing. He's a massive inspiration of mine to start riding myself, and I've never looked back. Nor did I look back when strutting out of the second gym, badge in hand. Leaving there, we head to the museum in Slateport where we're rudely interrupted by Archie. He drops the S word, and that reminds me, a second video in a row coming out on the day I said it would? I must be back. And that means you can get access to amazing emotes like these on screen now by joining the channel as a member. Perks include the emotes, a private Discord channel, and a shout out at the end of the video starting from the next time out. Hit that join button down below if you're interested and take a look. Hell, while you're down there, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and if you decide to, tap that bell icon to be notified when I upload or even decide to stream again. Obligatory self-promotion is done, and we get our first encounter with one of the most infuriating aspects of this game: trainer shiny odds. That's right, the teams in this game, they're not fixed. Trainer Pokemon, their stats change between resets, and that also includes their shiny odds, as this youngster here shows us with his shiny Ponyta. I don't even feel bad for knocking it out, in truth. The little brat's a show off. Yeah, in retrospect, that was about the high point, in truth. Battling May didn't get any easier. At level 31, I just can't make a dent in the team. I can't beat her, I can only get decimated. Time after time after time. So I give up. I battle more trainers, more wild Pokemon, still no shinies. I reach level 37, and even then I still struggle to make inroads into her team. The issues were that I either got burned by Ponyta, or terrible paralysis luck, or just straight up decimated. 37 may have been overkill at this point, but let me tell you, I did not regret those extra levels for very long. Outside the Moorville gym, Wally stands proud. His team is changed from usual, in one of the moves that I love the most about this game. Swablu and Roselia make their way onto the team, in a cute nod to his final one from Victory Road, and actually this was sorely missed in the base game. Unfortunately for him, it really didn't help him, as we beat him rather simply. Simplicity, sweet simplicity, how I long for some of that now. Firstly, at level 41, I thought I was fine. I had Rock Smash on to deal with Magneton, at least I thought it was a Magneton. Instead, I learned 3 things. Firstly, I was not a high enough level. Second, Watson is a shiny hoarding you-know-what. And third, he has a Magnezone. Yeah, this wasn't fun. There's only so many times a man can see the words Breph whited out before he loses his mind. Like real life, I turned to the casino as a way to soothe the pain. But unlike real life, I just lost all my money. Of my just shy of 10 hours of raw footage, just under 1 of those was spent on this gym alone. For perspective, the way I record, I usually get between 2 and 4 hours of footage depending on the challenge. This is 9 hours, 47 minutes and 28 seconds. Anyhow, dejected as I am, will forever be, at level 54, and still after many resets, it wasn't a simple sweep at that level. We got really lucky and beat Watson for the 3rd gym badge. Yeah, that's right. We're still only on 3 badges and we're 13 minutes into this video. Luckily for us, the snowball has begun. The pace really picks up a bit now. Straight from there, we head west to the Rust Turf Tunnel and use Rock Smash to reunite the lost lovers, gaining HM strength as a reward. This powerful stab move will be on my moveset for quite some time to come and proves to be exceptionally useful. But in the meantime, this game has got so many wonderful new features, I've got to show off at least one of them. Up north of Fallaba Town is a new location, the Fallaba Mines. Here is where we find Brawly digging out the cavern. I 100% recommend going here. Grab that mining kit and enjoy the wall digging minigame from Gen 4 here. There's actually some really good loot pieces to find in there. Unfortunately though, we have to snap back to reality and continue with the story stuff. We hit up Meteor Falls and interrupt the cutscene there. Following that, we make a beeline to the volcano where we get to engage Maxie. Public safety announcement: Maxie fights like a 5-year-old paraplegic against Prime Mike Tyson. After that, we do a somewhat predictable move that some of you may have seen coming. We collect the meteorite, head back to Fallaba Town and grab our go-to move in return. We might be unable to attack every single turn, but we do have max friendship. We get the same type attack bonus and we've got a silk scarf. Now I don't know the maths, I don't know the number, I don't need to. All I know is that is a stupidly powerful move right there. Once done, we double back and head down towards Flannery, only to be accosted by Wally just before the town. I was underprepared for this fight. I didn't expect it. Still unhealed and caught off guard, we're so high a level that beating Wally actually wasn't difficult at all. A good thing to note here is that this is the point where I realised that Truant recovers the same amount of HP that Leech Seed drains, 1/8 of the maximum HP pool. Essentially, Truant negates the drain of Leech Seed or poison once every other turn. A massive advantage to know for someone who isn't a total pillock like me, I'm sure, but it's me, so I very quickly forgot about this information. As you'll note, Return has been doing bits by now, and we're level 60. Flannery was not a challenge. We beat her first time. Sure, we got lucky. Sure, I wasn't expecting it. But we didn't even beat the first gym leader on the first attempt. Halfway through our gym challenge, and I have finally gotten a badge without needing to reset. For sanity's sake, I have to celebrate little wins like this, because I can guarantee you, it does not get better. And that's because the next major encounter is Norman. Whew, my daddy knows how to go hard on my ass. Ooh, wait, no, that came out wrong. Don't clip that. Norman knows how to hit hard and never let up. This man is packing a fully evolved team, and yes, one of them is Linoon, but the others are Blissey, Exploud, Ursaring, and Slacking. Hyper Voice, Giga Impact, and the fact that Return just doesn't seem to help much against the last two make this a brutal fight. So I bet you're sitting there wondering, how on earth did you do it, Breph? Level 69, baby, that's how. The key, it turns out, is to do what I do best and spam moves, typically Rock Smash on both Ursaring and Slacking. That said, there was a bit of strategy involved, and I'm not known for that. I had to keep an eye on the damage I was receiving, making sure to hit Slakoth to heal on the right turns. Sometimes that meant sacrificing and healing on higher HP than I would like to, but the key is really to just stay alive. It works, and we beat the 5th gym. Now, things really improve for us. We haven't encountered a wild shiny yet, let alone caught one, and I decided that needs to change. 1 in 1000 odds are not good enough for me, so having caught a surf user, I make my way to a super secret hidden cave north of Rustborough on that piece of land you get to after you unlock surf, and solve a few puzzles that you're going to see being sped up on screen now. With those odds, I thought I'd try and make the first one a special one and reset over and over for Entei. Now, no spoilers as to where, but he is there, and the problem was that I counted 820 resets, and I still hadn't found one. So I did a little bit of research, and I found that in older versions of this game, if you go and buy the EXP share from the tower place north of Morville, I forget its name, and you equip it to a team member, after you defeat or run from the next wild encounter, for as long as the EXP share is equipped, all future Pokemon would be shiny with about a 97% chance. Naturally, I needed to try this out, and it worked, as you can see, but only in part. I think the next 4 or 5 encounters were shiny, but then it just sort of broke out of nowhere. I don't know whether this is because of the Ditto spawning, or the wild double battle mechanic, or just because it's been sort of patched in version 1.6, but I couldn't recreate this even afterwards by resetting the game or by closing the emulator. If you are going to try this, make sure you equip the share in front of whichever encounter you want, and do not waste your chance to catch it. Pokemon like Mew, Entei and Raikou are readily available at this point in the game, so choose wisely. Me, I wasted all of them on trial encounters and didn't catch a single freaking one. Moving on, the Weather Institute, and nothing really changes. We get gifted the same crappy cast form. and we name it the very words that came out of my mouth once it came up. Do one, bruv. A good name if you ask me. It's only after then that we face May, and that's where things really start to change. What exactly begins to change? Well, my concentration for starters. At this point, it was about 2 AM on day 1 and I was shattered. I basically just spammed moves until I won first time. I head up to Fortree, I still have no idea how I did that. But I head up to Fortree and I defeat the Kecleon, I get the Devon Scope, I head into the gym and I faint to a bloody Pelipper. Let me tell you, that is peak levels of embarrassment right there. So much so, I actually just hit reset. Oh, but did I save? Did I F? So, back to May we went. Now, remember that first time win? Yeah, that was just dumb luck, straight up. For some reason, this time around, I couldn't beat her for toffee. Just when things couldn't be bad enough. I mean, still, we do get past, and we do get to Winona. She has powerful Pokemon. Malarkey, Tropius and Aerodactyl can all hit hard. Fortunately, on our third run, we get a lucky start, dodging Pelipper's Hurricane and smashing through her walls with a strong performance. Literally, in Aerodactyl's case. Now the tragic news is that at this point of the game, we're still 0 shinies in. Until, outside the Safari Zone, I encounter my very first one, a shiny Wingull. I catch it, I name it Shiny Burb, and, well, as you can see, that's exactly what it is. At this point, it's like 3 AM and my sanity just broke. I went absolutely mental. I saw the Safari Zone, I saw my bank account, and now rejuvenated by my first actual shiny, I just let loose. I went in the zone 3 or 4 times. I do encounter after encounter, time after time, and when all the dust settles, I fish up a shiny Magikarp on my first attempt of fishing, and I run into a shiny Natu, followed by a shiny Sunkern exactly 11 encounters later. I leave straight away and fight a trainer, evolving Natu into Xatu, and immediately find a shiny Murkrow. We went from 0 shinies to 5 shinies in the space of one single route. I mean, talk about shinies in this game being like London buses. I mean, you wait for 1 and 5 come along at once. So typical. I was on such a buzz at this point. I head up to Mount Pyre, sending Archie scattering for the hills and making our way down to the Magma hideout. Here is exactly where I decided to call it quits for the day, so I went to sleep and resumed the next evening after work. The first thing to do in the new recording is to fight Maxie. The Magma leader doesn't seem to realise that waking a hulking great beast from a deep sleep might have hidden consequences, but that said, neither does my girlfriend, and she never learns either. The fight itself was easy, but just a quick question, does anyone know what actually happens to Groudon here? I mean, like, where he goes? Kyogre's awake for less than 30 seconds later and the world is ending, and this bad boy is out for a long while without so much as an indication as to where he is. Oh boy, imagine finding plot holes in a game from 2005. Shocking revelation that, would never have thought it. At this point I decided to visit some of our mythical friends, like Mew, but I couldn't get it to spawn shiny. I did however find a shiny Wurmple in the grass. But things can never be simple when I'm involved, so guess who forgot to save, reset again to try and get shiny Mew, lost the shiny he just caught and nearly cried. Never mind that though, I soon found a shiny Metapod to make up for it, caught it and named it, well, the obvious nickname, and I made sure to save this one. We'll just call that a shiny trade, shall we, and pretend the first one never happened? Slateport is next, and here I randomly abandoned my post for approximately 45 minutes. Don't ask me what happened, I just have 45 minutes of me standing in front of Stern. No lie, this whole clip is sped up to something stupid, like 20 times or something. I probably decided to go for a pint, because it was about 9:30 PM at this point, and FYI, as Archie steals the submarine, I still have about 4 hours of footage from this point. Oh, it's a long night ahead. Yes, the next step is to go to the Lily Cove hideout, but I had a better idea. I've decided to skip that whole shebang, so let's go and do some fishing. First in the Safari Zone, where eventually we fish up a lovely shiny Goldeen. Really is a nice shiny, this one actually. It evolves into Sea King, so I named it Sea Queen. I was content with that, but then I had an amazing idea. I head back to Moss Deep and fish up a shiny Whalema. I name it Your Dad on account of it being a massive slobby beast of a whale, and evolve it into Whalelord just to really complete the joke. Next step is the Roadblock Gym for the vast majority of single Pokemon challenges, the Double Battle Gym of Tate and Liza. The general consensus here is that as long as you bring an under-leveled Pokemon in as a partner and it deals no damage, then it's pretty much free reign for whatever it is you use. Me, I chose Your Dad. Look, this hack makes the double battle leaders infinitely more difficult. Now boasting a much more powerful array of beasts, this became an absolute ruddy nightmare. Slakoth has been really surprising so far, and being 20 odd levels higher than this gym, I was quietly confident. Well, that was rapidly quashed because it soon became hell. Reset after reset, trying things from Slakoth and spamming return and just all sorts, but nothing at all helps. The only solution was to go away and come back when I was stronger. Stronger, in this case, means level 93. I tried level 87, still I was too weak. I tried level 91, still I was too weak. At level 93, we got a very lucky run, where the final Soul Rock just uses Calm Mind. Good thing too, because one Psychic could have been it for me. I don't care how they come, I'll take them all day long. Coming up now though, some quick fire explanations. Next in store for us comes the usual lark, starting with the double battle that Stephen brought on when Maxie perfectly described your mother's naked body, which turns out to be an absolute breeze. Apparently the Metagross line can be a little bit powerful, who knew? Afterwards, we head to Pacific Log, where we encounter Wally yet again. I really do love the extra encounters you have with him in this game. It really ties him in as more of the rival that he's supposed to be. His team is strong, but it's not quite good enough. We wish him well, and we know that we'll see him again very soon. Following that is when we dive down to the C4 Cavern, where we bump into a sleeping Kyogre and get a face-to-face with Archie. His team isn't too difficult for our little sloth to batter. So, apparently, it's common knowledge that releasing an ancient Eldritch Aura upon the world is bad, but for some reason that fact was overlooked when it came to releasing a pair of them. Because, thanks to Archie, this world is now in a dire state. It's so bad that Stephen decides to tell us not to do anything reckless. Now, if anyone knows anything about me, it's that Reckless is my middle name. We head straight into the danger zone and get escorted down to the Cave of Origin to meet Wallace. After a short but fulfilling chat, we're told to meet him at Sky Pillar in order to awaken Cthulhu's detached and pulsating schlong, and returning quickly to Sootopolis to face Juan. He wasn't too difficult, a few resets due to RNG, but nothing major. Does it feel like I'm skipping over a lot? Well, that's because I am. I'm sat here. Still, there's 3 hours of footage left to talk through. That's right, I recorded for 3 hours just to beat the Elite Four. Strap in, because they'll be coming up next. Before then, one last scrap with Wally. The only notable things in the fight are that the Magnezone survives our Rock Smash with basically 1 HP, and Roserade manages to hit a Toxic on us. In the end, it doesn't matter, because for the final time in this game, Wally is no more. All we have to do next is pass Victory Road and get to the League. That reminds me of a joke, actually. Why did the child cross the road? He wasn't wearing his seatbelt. Right then, kids, do you want to know what on earth could have possibly taken me 3 hours to record? Was it me being a pleb? Was it completely impossible? Did I give up? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. In the meantime, take a look at the shiny Rhyhorn and shiny Golbat we met in Victory Road. Rightio then, chaps, shall we? For the sake of time and my sanity, I'll only show or mention the winning runs unless something interesting happens. Phoebe is the first Elite Four member with her Ghost types. Emolga was a surprise, but pretty easy. In fact, most of her team was once I got to grips with it. Definitely the easiest Elite Four member. Her Dusknoir was a tank, and we did get super lucky with Cofagrigus, but sometimes in these bouts, luck is all you need. And luck was the only thing that got me through Serena's team. While her Meganium was a massive beast, and Theraphorn wasn't great to face either, the absolute wall of her team was that blasted Shuckle. She has the stalliest Shuckle set in the world. A moveset of Ingrain, Leech Seed, Rest and Toxic is just unbearable. For those who don't know, Toxic basically guarantees a reset as we have no way to deal with it. In many of my runs I experimented with Silk Scarf, I experimented with Pecha Berry, I really pulled out all the stops, and in the end, it was just dumb luck. We managed to dodge Toxic on the winning run and we found even more insane luck on the Meganium. Needless to say, I saved about 5 times at the end of this one. The third member of the Elite Four is Bede, and I'm really just going to speed through this. His Bisharp and Goulosal are bulky beasts and do pose a threat. Fortunately, the defense drops from Rock Smash do help, and eventually, before too long, we do manage to beat him. Why did I just jump over Bede? Why did I skip him? Well, that's because the final member of the four, Drake, is by no slim margin the absolute worst. There's only so many times you can face Barney the Purple Murdersaur before your sanity just fades away. Drake's issues start right from the off and don't let up in the slightest. Dragonite loves to spam Fly, which means the fight often looks like this. He uses Fly, our move misses, he hits us for hard damage, we loaf around. He uses Fly, our move misses, and so on and so forth until we faint. Can you see the problem? And it doesn't improve. Flygon deals mad damage too, although it is a lot easier for us to cheese that once he starts reducing his special attack. But from there, we need to finish with enough HP to tackle Garchomp, and I'm telling you, this thing may actually be worse than Cynthia's. And even if after all of that, even if we get through, we've then got Dragapult up, and oh boy, I got very familiar with this sprite. In all my attempts, over an hour's worth, I found getting to this point somewhat easy. Essentially, if we got through Dragonite, we could most of the time get through to Dragapult. But why is this thing such a roadblock though? Well, it boils down to the fact that we get 2-shot from full HP by Dragon Pulse. And because we knocked out a Pokemon on the last turn, our first one is always a Truant turn. What we need on paper seems to be possible. We need one of the 2 attacks to be a Will-O-Wisp. If Dragapult uses that and we get burnt, we need our next hit to be a critical. If it misses, ideally we'd still want that crit, but it gives us another go at the use of Slakoth, or for hope that it goes and gets another miss. The issue is, I get 1 chance at this per reset, 1 opportunity for all of those RNG stars to align perfectly. If they don't, I reset, and there's no real way to assure myself that on that reset, I'll even get back to this point. With pure and utter luck, we can get through to the final Pokemon, Jurasparath. I believe that's how you pronounce it. On the 1 attempt I got through to it semi-decently, the AI decided to use Dragon Dance rather than putting me out of my misery. And thankfully, that puts us face to face with the champion. Yeah, I had to max my level out to even get here. No, I am definitely not having fun anymore. This video has taken way longer than it had any right to. And this is the part of the game where my heart actually sunk. I gave up. Internally, I had checked out. I was ready to call it quits. All because I realised one very small detail. It was at this point of the recording, all those hours in, that I realised about that earlier mentioned fact about teams not being set. There was absolutely no way to know what stat spread of Pokemon I would meet at each attempt. Would they be male? Would they be female? Would they have full IVs or zero IVs? Would they be speed focused or tanky? There was absolutely nothing to go on. There was nothing to read. There was absolutely nothing. And I somehow had to craft something. And Wallace, yeah, he's the champion. Yeah, you'd expect it. But Wallace was the absolute worst. Whiscash either went down to a return that we outsped on, or they managed to get off a future sight first, and that really made me feel like it was an easy start. In fact, even when Tentacruel comes out, it uses overdrive and paralyzes itself in the fight. But everything after that, it just takes a nosedive. I spent so long, actually no lie, an hour and a half-ish, just resetting on Wallace. I was so ready to give up, I'd actually made a note on a bit of paper next to me that just says impossible. I was so ready to get this done, I was prepared to load up the save file editor, I was ready to cheat and involve myself to be a slacking, but something in the back of my head was just niggling at me. It really would have felt dirty, because with varying success I was able to get through to Lapras and sometimes even Ludicolo. But one time I managed to get through to Milotic, and deep down I knew it was possible. I knew I had to keep going. It's just a shame I didn't know what I was getting in for, because this has absolutely broken me. Slakoth is horrible to use. Anyone out there that has ever willingly put themselves through this, you need psychiatric help. I'm thinking Picaspri. It's the first video that springs to mind. I know there have been more. I know I've seen at least one more video out there. But anyone who's ever attempted this, whether they've made content on it or just done it for themselves, you need help. Because this has been probably the worst challenge I have ever put myself through. And I have done some horrible challenges. And I think acceptance is the start of this. I need to accept that I have been beaten by a sloth. But there is a silver lining. There is some good news. Because that sloth that beat me also beat the champion. Somehow, by some stroke of luck, some miracle, the AI in Ludicolo must have just packed it in, because we battered it aside. Milotic came out, it had no idea what it was coming in for, and boom, before we knew it, Slakoth has beaten Wallace, the Elite Four, and this entire game. Whew. As my slothy friend here enters the Hall of Fame, I'm telling you now, get your minds away from the Steven battle. Ignore it, it's not happening. Partially because there's a major post-game spoiler there, but also because I just can't sit through another battle. This one is over. Oh, what a run. Seriously though, thank you all so much for watching. Your time is so greatly appreciated. This was an event and a half. Thank you to everyone who voted on the poll. I've seen a couple of challenge suggestions in Discord. I've seen challenge suggestions in the comments of the last video. I can't tell you which one I'm going to choose. I can tell you it's certainly not going to be as difficult as this. But the next one that comes out will be a fan chosen challenge. So keep your eyes out. Make sure you do get involved. Leave your comments down below. Smash like. Do share the video around. I am back with my monthly upload schedule. It's, yeah, been a fun time. Been moving house. That's why this one is a bit lastminute.com. But yeah, settled in nicely, well, settling in nicely. and hopefully that's going to create more opportunities, more time for me to record. So we'll stick for monthly uploads. There may or may not be a cheeky one in between. There may or may not be streams. Who knows? The only way you find out is if you get yourselves in the Discord server, you smash that subscribe button, you hit that bell notification, you do all of that stuff I said earlier, and you get engaged, because it's only with your engagement that I'm going to be able to find the will to continue to put myself through horrible challenges like this. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Like I've said, the time is so greatly appreciated. And yeah, as we just tick over the 40-minute mark, I look forward to seeing all of you, and hopefully some more, in the next one.